focused approach, and then how to change recognition. And after a certain amount of time, that reflection of the whole process, say, okay, where can we go from here? Maybe it's not this person leave the organization because they're not going to have as much value anymore, or maybe they want to just try to come back from that.
Cool. It's interesting because it kind of aligns with what this group is saying here, is that you want that kind of communication and you want it to be deliberate, kind of connecting it with your interests and your skills and that kind of thing. But I like that what you're saying as well is that, it's not just because I said I want to work on my leadership skills doesn't mean I'm always going to want to work on my leadership skills. Like reevaluating that and making sure you're having those check-ins and that it's, there's an opportunity for you to kind of switch directions and perhaps change roles or maybe change organizations. I think that's important.
I'm reluctant to call it kind of progress evaluations because that sounds too much like a job. But that does need to be an element of volunteer roles. After 3, 6 months or a year, saying, okay, what have we done? Where are we coming from? And where do we want to go?
Right.
How are you performing? What supports do you need to be successful in your role? And then what we need as an organization. And also with volunteer roles, just in general. Really assign these to specific tasks or short-term projects that really open
So more task-oriented rather than kind of long-term.
So it allows you to really tailor these roles to specific skill sets. So say you have a business who wants to volunteer, working with or bringing someone to work on some kind of training program. So these specific tasks or projects is an easy way to get people to do work.
Great. Right, kind of just to get them hooked in it. It's like you have this short-term project, yeah. Great. Anything else you guys would like to add?
One last thing. With the career education part of high school, 30 hours. This is more of a barrier, I guess, but for a lot of organizations like Scouting and some other, especially youth-serving organizations, there's a really long, intensive screening process. So for us, we need to do a police record check and a sector screening check. And some other required pieces of mandatory training. That's a really long and expensive process sometimes for someone who's only going to do 30 hours in a night.
Right.
So that's what can be done. Some support on the side of the government or the school system to make that a bit easier.
Require less as an organization, or have the organization pay these fees that are required to get these documents, which some do.
Yeah. I think for the vulnerable persons, what is it? Vulnerable sector check. That is free for those who are volunteering, right? I believe.
Yeah, that's free, and if you go through your organization, please record check is free as well.
Right.
But it's just a big time commitment.
Definitely.
Work to get something.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to kind of throw it out there. So it's really time consuming, obviously, to kind of go through this entire process just to volunteer. But from the community side, do you feel like going through that process increases retention? So because they've kind of gone through that whole thing and it's been, a lot of work or whatever, do you think that kind of increases the likelihood that individual will stay on the organization?
Yes, but also reverse analysis of that is the people that are likely to be committed to do great work in an organization are generally also the people who would go through that long screening process and not just give up after the first piece or look at the application and give up, because as many volunteers as you get through that screening process, there's probably lots of volunteers that, ghosts of volunteers that you don't know about, who may have gone through one of those things and just couldn't stick with it. So
okay, yeah.
Yes, so maybe the solution is to have sort of tiered levels of volunteer involvement.
Right.
You don't need all of the checks to participate to this extent, but if you want to be an instructor and be in charge of a group of children, you do need to do your 40%.
Yeah, we see it from organizations all the time that are struggling with that, because sometimes they have a blanket and sometimes it's a national organization where they have a blanket requirement that every volunteer has to be screened, and sometimes in the health department, you have to have blood tests, if you want to volunteer in the hospital, you have to have physical screening as well as,
Right.
So for some volunteers, that is a turnoff because they feel like I'm here to give you my time, and now I have to go through all this.
Yeah, take my time to do all this.
Right?
Yeah.
But if they are committed, they are willing to go through that. But sometimes with the 30-hour requirement, it's that they're not necessarily doing that well in advance. Like, it's just kind of like, why can't I just come to the hospital and volunteer?
Right.
You know, right? But for organizations too, when there's quite a, there's some screening guidelines that have gone to Canada, but you're right, for some organizations that would encourage them to think about what if it is your volunteers are doing. So
Right.
if you have a volunteer that's working with children, or other people that obviously they need to have, especially in those screening requirements. But if
Yeah.
a volunteer is going to be with your mail out, then maybe they don't think about it. So
Mhm.
they have to
That tailoring it, yeah, to what they're doing. Did you have a comment? That was, okay, perfect.
So that
Yeah.
might be a place to apply the mentor program right away.
Yeah.
Just to help new volunteers get through all that paperwork.
That's a really good point, and perhaps then kind of create that retention because they're already matched with somebody who's gone through the process, knows how to perhaps speed through it, and then perhaps that will create that retention that we're looking at. Definitely. Okay, what about this group here? I know you guys kind of added a couple things.
I have lots of things to say, but of course, everyone agrees.
We could start the way we started.
But can I just start the way I started?
You
You guys
take
can say
it.
the last things if you asked, and I'll just sum it up. I have a few new things that just popped in my head.
Sure. So is there one specific point that you kind of focused on, or was it kind of a fluid, all things?
Well, I was interested, I'm starting an organization for youth, and I wanted to get youth involved in the strategic planning of the organization. So I thought that it would be important to have a youth committee that would be part of the executive board. And it was suggested to me to be very careful that that not be like the kiddie table.
Right. Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
And so then it just went from there. And so then we had a great discussion. And so I'll let the discussion go around the table now.
So was there kind of a suggestion to not do that, but perhaps try something
Combine
else?
it.
But
To have
right.
the youth committee, because it was important that that people interact with, within their peer group, age group, but then also that they be able to interact with the other committees within the board, and that then I addressed the concern that maybe a young person would feel overwhelmed being in a boardroom, with stuffed shirts or old hearts or something. And so then it was suggested that they have protected time, that each person around the room have protected time, so that the person who was shy would then have their 10 minutes to speak in each board meeting. So then that would ensure that the young person, if that was the case, that they were shy, I didn't see any shy here, but just in case that was the issue that
Right.
would be addressed too, so.
Definitely.
So it was suggested that a combination of a youth committee and then incorporating young people, making sure that they were represented in all of the committees.
Yeah, I like the idea of instead of kind of separating, integrating, but then also accommodating for the fact that perhaps some youth would be more intimidated to be in an organization that has people with years and years of experience. So I think that's a really interesting approach. Any other?
Oh, yeah. Do you guys have anything to say?
I think the practical steps to create a youth committee would be like you involve your regular volunteers in decision making and strategic planning. Like don't put them right away in a committee, but like hold their hands kind of thing. And then once they feel more comfortable, they know more about like what to do and how to do it, then you empower them to like walk on their own. And later on, they can be the board or the committee. I think it's also we can also use the orientation team. So first you're like a regular group leader or event leader, and then you become OAC, and then you become coordinator. So
Right.
like
This is like orientation volunteer. That's kind of the model that we use.
Yeah. like you show them from like small steps, and then once they feel more capable, like they have bigger capacity to like take responsibilities, that's when you like pick people to
Yeah. And maybe once that's established, then it's a youth who's leading that person through the process. It's somebody who's kind of a senior volunteer who's kind of leading them through the process. Definitely.
We talked a lot about mentorship and trying to make it fun, like
Yeah.
mentors, like the attraction part. I know that the organization she was talking about was Fishing for Success, so maybe like making it fun to attract volunteers by giving them the opportunity to learn how to fish or row, and then maybe
Cool.
you can teach even younger people so that they have some kind of interest and they still get some skills and they can be volunteering and helping community engagement, so not to forget that piece. So
Definitely.
you're attracting the youth to just have a good time.
Yeah.
And also getting some skills.
And it kind of links back to what you were saying about like, it's not just about skill development, it's about interest too, and like incorporating that into the entire process. So it's not just like, I'm developing my communication, patient, 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 Patient